Welcome back to the GridLocked F1 podcast. Today we'll be doing a review of the Singapore Grand Prix, and yeah, that's it. So, Cole, what were your thoughts on the race?
I thought that, I mean, everything outside of the race, there was like a lot of action. Like we had like the incident between McLaren and Ferrari. I believe that was during third practice. Might have been during
Yeah,
qualifying.
the Norris and Leclerc pit lane crash. Yeah,
I thought that's just really that was interesting. And just throughout the whole weekend, there's a lot of just different incidents, not even within the race.
yeah. I mean, I think that's what will come with, like a street track. There's always going to be a lot of incidents. And yeah,
What were your thoughts on qualifying with both Williams being disqualified?
there was something wrong with their rear wings, right?
Yeah, I believe it was too flexible by like a couple millimeters or something.
Yeah, they're like really strict with that rule now. Ever since the new change, I think it was round 9, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's good that they have. I mean, it's good that they're very strict, right? Because you
Yeah.
kind of want all teams to be under like this tough scrutiny.
Yeah, and some people might say it's like unfair because it might just flex by like a millimeter, but that's the whole point. They need to be strict with these rules.
Yeah,
Otherwise, people are gonna like try getting away with it. So
I mean,
kind of unfortunate, but
yeah, they're giving these like strict standards on what the cars need to comply with. They're aware of these standards for like a very long time, and I mean, they don't really tend to change throughout a season. But teams redevelop their parts, and they should be testing them off track to ensure stuff like this should not be happening.
yeah, yeah. So another thing that I thought was like after the practice and like the Aston Martins were looking really quick. I really thought Alonso would, you know, have a great race, finish top 5 maybe. I had him predicted on the podium actually, but turns out he finished P7, I think. And that's
Which
still
is
pretty good
for
for an
him
Aston Martin.
qualifying in
Yeah,
10th, I believe it was. That's pretty good.
yeah. And he had a good bounce back race. He was catching up Hamilton at the end. I'm still pissed that the TV camera operators, they weren't showing the Alonso Hamilton battle at the end. They were just showing drivers' girlfriends and moms.
What were your thoughts? I mean, I thought it was really interesting that like George was able to hold off Max really throughout the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
race.
He wasn't like just holding off. He was like actually like
He was
kind of
leading.
dominating.
Yeah. Another like I feel like 5 seconds, like a 5 second lead, is really just like is crazy to have for like
Yeah.
a whole race ending with a 5 second lead. That's just like a lot
And
because the other sorry.
there was like no one fighting him all race. It was like kind of we knew from the start he was gonna win after the
Mhm.
first couple laps. He just looked
Yeah.
quicker.
I mean, I was like, I'm happy, but like very also surprised. And Max was able to hold off both the McLarens, and
Yeah,
I mean, at the end they were gapped up a tiny bit behind him at certain points. But I think Max did like really good defense throughout the race, and especially like near the end and stuff. You have any
yeah.
thoughts on?
His defense on Norris was, I would say, was pretty amazing. He held up Norris for probably like 2/3 of the race. Like Norris was just catching up, but he kept on putting in those perfect laps to keep Norris behind. And he's still gaining points on the McLarens. Like who knows, the championship still on if he wins every single one of the races. I did the math, and Piastri can't finish higher than third for any of these remaining sprints or races for Max to have a chance.
So if he finishes out of podium for everything throughout the whole season, that's the only
If
possibility.
Piastri finishes third for the rest, Max finishes first, Max would win. That's how it is right now.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Max will win by 1 point, according to my calculation.
I mean, okay, as much as I would love to have Max with another victory, I that's probably like not the most realistic thing. I feel like
Yeah,
you're gonna have some like divine intervention for that to be likely to happen.
5 straight McLaren DNF.
That would be interesting. What if another team has an issue like what Williams had the next week?
Next week is Coda, right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
maybe.
Yeah, next week is Coda.
There was that issue with, was it Leclerc and Hamilton last year or the year before, where they both got disqualified from the race, and Gasly, I think. I think they had like too much wear on their plank or something in Coda. Maybe something like that could happen again.
So I actually just had to going back to the disqualifications. I'm aware. So I know there's a rule saying if you don't like do a lap in qualifying with a car, that it is not like you're not allowed to race at all. Typically, right?
I'm not sure about that, but
Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a rule which I'll check right here. But I think there is a rule that states that if a car does not complete like a full lap around the track, it is not. Let me actually just check that.
it might be that for even, might be including practice, maybe. Because, like a driver might crash on their first lap.
So I think it goes down to the discretion of the stewards. From what I'm reading here, at least there's a rule that's like 107%. If the driver eliminated is within like 107% of the fastest Q1 time, then they'll be eligible to start. But if not, then it's like a steward discretion. Which I don't. I mean, I wouldn't see in any world where they probably would not allow him to race.
Yeah.
That rule just popped back into my head, kind of thinking about the
Yeah.
disqualifications.
I think now that you're saying that 107%, I think I've heard it before. Such a rule.
Oh,
And now I'm just
sorry.
thinking about this, like it's been a week, I've forgotten some of the race, but one of the biggest moments of the race, at the start, Norris and Piastri. Norris like barging his way through Piastri, and now this whole, debate about the papaya rules. That's all going on because Norris, I think he made contact, like their wheels banged with each other, and almost forced Piastri into the wall and crashed.
Mhm.
Like, so now that's the whole debate. And now that McLaren have won the constructors, are they allowed to fight?
I think honestly, I mean, the papaya rules are probably a bit more relaxed because I mean, the team doesn't really care because now, I mean, they care to keep the drivers safe and stuff, but at the end of the day, the drivers, not the constructors championship, is where they get most of their money from. They don't. I don't think they don't get a single dollar from drivers championship, from if I'm remembering right. And I feel like they'll probably be a bit more lenient. I don't think they're gonna like change the rules, but they're probably like the race engineers might not like bug them as much. I mean, there'll probably just be a bit more like tension, you know?
Like after the race, I think there was like clearly like McLaren have like some sort of favoritism towards Norris, I feel. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the things like Piastri unplugging his mic, that was debunked. Piastri not being allowed to go to the celebrations, that was debunked. But, Zach saying in the post race interview, like Zach Brown, he said like we're allowing our drivers to fight. You know, come on, like Monza. You made Piastri give up the position to let Lando through. I mean, kind of just say you prefer Norris at the point.
Yeah. I really think that was, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on with that team. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that they do is
They're
not
trying
exactly
to
right.
like take a so structured approach, but at some point that's gonna fail. And I think Piastri, he knows that now he can go and attack Norris if he wants. Because Norris clearly like attacked him into the first corner in Singapore, and Piastri, he was playing by the rules, papaya rules, right?
Mhm.
Playing it safe, giving him space. But now that he can see that such things can happen, and now that the constructors championship is settled, he's fighting for his own championship now. And
Mhm.
team manager Mark Webber, he has him obviously to lead the way. He knows how it feels like to be a number two driver. So
What were your thoughts on? I think it might have been it was either Alpine or Haas, and I think they were talking about getting Mr. Christian Horner back in the sport.
yeah, Haas, I
It's
saw that.
Haas. Okay,
I
I
think
think
that's like a whole
that'll be
complete
really
fake.
interesting.
I think that's fake news though.
You think it's fake news?
And you know what I did see though online today? I
Mm-hmm.
saw Ferrari are interested in bringing in Christian Horner.
Boy, that would be. I think that Ferrari
That's
might
interesting.
get my liking a tiny bit if they do that.
You're a Horner fan, right?
I do like. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I always preferred him over Helmut Marko in Red Bull. You know, the two sides. It's either you're a Helmut Marko side with Jos Verstappen and all that, or you're with Mr. Horner and the Honda, all that.
What? So going back to qualifying, because so the two Williams, they made it to Q2.
Yeah, I think they qualified 13th and 14th, or like 12 and 13th, something
And
like
then
that.
so how do you think the race would have played differently if the ones like the top two that were knocked out in Q1 would have been
Allowed in.
allowed in? Because
Who are
that would
those?
have
Who are
been
those two knocked out?
Bortoleto and Stroll.
I mean, I think clearly Aston Martin had some sort of pace. I'm not sure how much pace was there on Stroll's side, but he had some pace at least, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he could have pushed into top 10, maybe almost top 10. And the Sauber, you know, Bortoleto, he's been out qualifying Hulkenberg for like the past, I don't know how many races, like 8 races, I think. So this was the first race in a while he's been out qualified
Mm-hmm.
by Hulkenberg. So maybe that's like showing he had some sort of down qualifying or something, or I don't know. But they definitely could have pushed for a like top 10, but it's a difficult track at the end of the day.
Very much so agreed.
And okay, yeah. And there's another thing about the race that was quite interesting was like the Ferrari. I mean, Ferrari have just been looking like they've not been improving at all. They're just like constantly on the down and down and down.
Hamilton being beat by Alonso,
Yeah.
which Alonso,
Brake that brake failure thing at the end, like that car is just breaking down like
yeah,
lap after lap. You can't drive it. And Leclerc, he constantly being told to lift and coast, like just fix the car, you know. If it's so unreliable, just at least fix that part before you're sending your drivers out there because the car's not
yeah.
even that good to start with. It's not fighting for a podium.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like in the middle range, not as fast as the top runners, not as slow as like the midfield. They're just there in the middle, always stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And come to think of it, will Leclerc move teams
What to like
to like the
Williams or an Alpine? I was going to
Aston
ask.
Martin, Mercedes,
But
McLaren,
who would Aston Martin kick off
Stroll, or if Alonso retires? Alonso's probably going to retire next couple of years.
in the next couple? I mean, I think he probably has a couple good years on him.
Yeah, I mean he. I said in the last episode, but he's gonna see if it's fast next year, and then he's gonna
Bolt
decide
out if
should I
it's not.
retire,
Yeah,
should I not. I think he wants to win, so
one
once he
more
starts winning, he will retire. Like
first race he wins, retire.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting when we fully have the confirmed team lineup for next year,
yeah,
especially because now so for qualifying of next year, six drivers will get knocked out Q1, Q2
yes, yeah.
because they got to make it 10 for Q3.
It's been a while since there's been 22 drivers on the grid.
What's the
It's gonna be
most that
interesting.
we've ever had on the grid?
Not sure. Probably in like the 50s or something. There's been like 30, 40 in the grid. I think back in early 2010s, there was probably 24.
No, the highest was 12 in like modern history in 2012, yeah. But in like 1950 there were like 30 cars because I don't think like back then I think it might have just been I'm not too aware
Well, yeah,
of
they had like
like
three
back
drivers per
then.
team or something back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, you know, just for rumors and stuff, like you think if this McLaren Piastri, you know, favoring all this, you know, if this goes on, you think he's gonna move teams or something?
To where though? Or like Mercedes. The only place I could probably see him at would be like Mercedes or Ferrari or maybe Aston if they
Red
have a good
Bull,
car.
Red Bull.
You really think Red Bull, so a Max and no,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
doesn't
if he moves to Red Bull, it's worse than what it's currently at McLaren right now, to
doesn't
be honest.
Hajar have like the seat basically?
I think basically he has a seat by now.
And then are they gonna move Yuki down?
I don't think that like Yuki's probably going to become the reserve driver, or
That
he's probably
hurts.
not going to be in F1.
That
Because,
hurts.
yeah, that hurts. I think he's been treated very unfairly, but,
Well,
that's
even
what it is in F1. He's going to get an opportunity somewhere else, probably, maybe. Like Albon, Albon got that opportunity in Williams. Yuki, hopefully he gets an opportunity in the future. Because, me and Aiden have been debating this in previous episodes, but he thinks Lindblad is not, ready for F1 at the moment. Maybe that leaves a spot open at RB, but I've been seeing this these
I think
rumors so
Lindenblad's
much
ready.
that Lindblad is gonna come in, and he's like one of the most hyped up Red Bull prospects. They have to
Yep.
bring him. Thank you for tuning in on this episode of the GridLocked F1 podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts and
Stay locked in.
stay locked in.
All right.